Well, hi there, I'm Noah Bradley and this is Handmade House TV. Today's episode I'm going to share with you my progress on my future home. Or should I say my lack of progress on my future home. Either way, we'll talk about it in just a minute. Stay tuned. Well, welcome to this week's Handmade House TV. I thought I'd share with you my progress story here on my own piece of land, and I haven't done a whole lot since we've last talked about it. I've had a little bit of challenges in the layout and construction of the home, particularly in the orientation of my home. I thought that I had just the right orientation, and I had lined up a nice cut for where I was going to create a yard area below and the house above. And I was going to build a cute little log cabin down at the end and have it all ready. And I thought that I would be well into the construction of it right now. But a couple of things have really changed. And one was the construction of a nearby home that caused me to want to change the orientation of my home just a little bit so that the vision of that house is not in my peripheral vision, that it's kicked out. So I'm just moving it just a few degrees, the whole house, which means that I've got to redo the cut between the two different levels here. I'm creating a little yard area and then the house area. And so I've been waiting for the dozer guy to come in order to make this cut and remove that one tree down at the end. And of course, it seems like whenever he's available, it's pouring down, raining, and whenever the weather is nice and dry, he's in the middle of putting in a septic field. So that's sort of been a holdup. And the other thing is that I'm having a little bit of issue with getting the permit for the little log cabin I want to build down at the end. That it's called a shed, but because I found out because it's a shed, and I'm building it before the construction of the house, that the county considers it the main structure on the property until the house is under construction, at which time the house becomes the main structure. So that means that the shed has to be held back from the property line the same distance as what a house is. And so I'm doing some creative conversation and applications in order to get permission to build a shed where I'd like to build a shed on my own property. So I'm held up on a couple of accounts there, but in the meantime, what it's given me time to is to change my focus a bit. And what I've done is I've created a whole new academy program. It's going to be extremely inexpensive, but it's called Bootstrap Building. And it's all about it's more than 12 tips in there on how you can save a significant amount of money in the construction of your home. It's free to Handmade House Guild members, and I'm going to share a few of those episodes with you guys here on YouTube, and I think you'll get a good flavor for it. And if nothing else, I guarantee if you follow just these few, you're going to save big time on the construction of your home. So look forward to seeing that in the future as well. So I haven't been just sitting on my haunches, but I have been keeping you guys in mind, and I think I've got a lot of great material coming. So as always, thank you for joining me here on Handmade House TV, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. So thanks a lot. Bye now. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. And I can say that in the process of every home that I've ever built and every home I've ever seen others build, is that through the process you make mistakes. You realize that this is not the best it could be, but you have invested so much time and energy and thought into it, and you so want to get it done that you won't correct the mistake when it's time to do that. And as a result, all of the work and all the effort I had done in laying out all of these other structures, suddenly I was faced with I'll go ahead and continue on the path that I'm on, or do I spend money making the change and stop construction and delete everything that I've done before, correct my mistake, or live with the ramifications of it. And of course, I have learned that most people will live with it. They'll just ignore the problem. They'll go ahead and move forward. They don't want to move backwards. They don't want the expense of it, and then they end up living with regret as time moves forward. And that if you do avoid the first mistake, you don't correct it, that it tends to be throughout the construction of the home that other situations like this present themselves, and you get in a cycle of, well, I'll live with it, I'll live with it, I'll live with it, and then in the end you're not near as pleased with the construction of your home. Whereas if the first thing you need to change, the first one that sets you back a bit, if you undertake correcting it, you've set yourself a pattern that you want to achieve the best home you possibly can, and therefore you're going to end up with the best home you possibly can. I would like to thank 10 new members of the Handmade House Guild. Yes, indeed, we are growing that fast and that strong, and I have fallen behind on some of the names on my list, and I apologize for that, for not keeping up with it. If you are not a member of the Handmade House Guild, you really need to check us out. Visit handmadehouses.com to learn more, and while you're there, make sure and sign up for the newsletter. The 10 people I would like to thank today are Whitney Robinson, Nikki Cunningham, Jeffrey Culver, James Ramser, Robert Morris, Eric Foster, Bruce Thomas, Arthur Lindaker, James and Linda Labordi, and Christina Johnson. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you for joining the Guild. Thank you for all your kind words. I look forward to sharing with you next week as we move the stone that I got hauled in here, and we start splaying it out, laying it out on the ground so that I can easily take an inventory of the stone that I have and start the preliminary construction of the retaining wall on my future home. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you next week. You guys take care. Talk to you later. Bye now.